Hello, it's Ricardo, and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. Well, it's all about the new super sexy looking ship, the Mandalay. The Mandalay Explorer. Zorgon-Peterson's foray into the exploration market. The Mandalay takes its cues from the Mamba. And that should be something to think about. Is it going to be a good explorer? What's the ship like to fly? Well, we're going to find out in this video as we take our first look at the Zorgon-Peterson Mandalay. And is it going to be that jumper conda killer? So will the Mandalay ship become the quintessential explorer and jumper, surpassing the jumper condas and other favourite explorer ships, such as the Asp Explorer or DBX? Only time will tell. Just look at it, everybody. This ship is a right shop window, as they say in Wales. Everyone's going to be looking at it. Looking at this now in its Seeker Red paint job. This is the more expensive, fully tricked out, kitted out version with the Hunter ship kit on it as well, or parts of the Hunter ship kit. We'll go on about that a little bit later on in this video. We're going to look at the initial Mandalay that you can buy for cheaps. Then we're going to look at this version, which has got all the bells and whistles on it, although perhaps not all the bells and whistles I thought it would have on it. And then we're going to hear the sound of the engines, the sound of the boost. We're going to look at the back of the rocket boosters and everything. What could go wrong? So here it is, everybody. I present to you the Zorgon-Peterson Mandalay, the third of the ships that have been released by Frontier Developments this year in 2024 in-game. Initially going to be available for the ARCs and then later on in-game. This follows the Python Mark II and also the Type 8. But the Mandalay here, you can see in its standard fare, we're going to go through what comes with. 2 1F small pulse lasers. You can tell. We've got the core internals, lightweight stuff, grade E power plant, the thrusters grade E, 5C frame shift drive, which is the middle of the road. Okay, it's the middle of the road frame shift. And you can see the jump range on it, tickling around the 29 with a 5C. Yes, you've got a 4E live support, but here's the big beefy thing here, and we were wondering about this. Only 4 utility slots. And people are going to be thinking, am I going to be able to go and beef a Titan with this? Of course you are. Anyway, looking at the optional internals, it's cargo, 5E shield generator, super cruise assist. Why would you want it? I don't know. Well, perhaps you do. But that's typically what it's all about. It's those 4 utility mounts. A lot of people didn't know, and it wasn't released in any of the documentation that Frontier sent out, or did they include in the Frontier show. Frontier Unlocked. So, of course, you're going to take this ship, you're going to rip all of that out, you're going to put all your nice swanky stuff in, stuff that's going to be tuned up lightweight. You're going to say, well, I'm going to have some better weapons than that, potentially, to keep the pirates away. You might say, I'll stick with the lightweight alloy and engineer that up with deep plating and the things like that. Beef up the power plant, get that engineered, because this is going to be lacking the power, and we're going to come on a little bit later on and talk about the power requirements of this ship. So, with the utility mounts and the Titan, of course you're going to have caustic sink, pulse wave neutralizer, heat sink, and perhaps another caustic sink launcher in there as well. Core internals, you know, I mean, whatever we do with those is whatever the commander does and whatever the role of the ship will be. I see this being not only an explorer ship, but I see the Zorgon-Peterson Mandalay to be the best of all things. More a multi-role ship with pretty good jump range. That's how I see it. So I would be remiss to mention the upgraded version of this that you can buy for ARCs as well. And we saw a clip of this at the beginning of this video. So look at the ship. Ooh, now what you get for your advanced amount of ARCs, paint job and ship kit. Well, instead of the 2 small pulse lasers, you get 2 medium lasers. I know you can hardly contain your excitement. A lot of the modules there, the power plant, the thrusters, the frame shift drive and the distributor are 5A. You get 2 normal heatsink launchers in the utility slots, and you get a 6A fuel scoop, a 5A auto field maintenance unit, for being out in the black and fixing those things that usually get stuffed. You get a 4D shield generator to stop you bouncing into things and destroying your lovely ship. You get a little bit of cargo, a repair limpet controller, a docking computer, research limpet controller, which is interesting by itself. A research limpet controller? Really? What's this added dynamic going to be that requires a research limpet controller? Usually these have been sort of like left to probing Thargoids. What else are we going to be probing? Makes me wonder. Got the surface scanner and you've got the advanced planetary approach suite. So, things I would change here? Well, potentially, I'd perhaps put an operations controller in there and then pop in, instead of the advanced docking computer, perhaps a repair limpet controller in there. I don't know. It's going to be up to the individual commander on how you trick this particular ship out. Bearing in mind, if you buy this with your arcs and start taking modules out of it, your rebuy cost is going to start to go up. At the moment, the rebuy cost for this is going to be up to 0. It's going to be 0. But once you start putting your other modules in, then you're going to start incurring like a 35% cost. Is it 35 or 15% cost of the module as your rebuy? So something to be aware of, I think, as well with this particular ship. Either way, though, it does look particularly nice, I have to say. I'd buy the upgraded version. I really would. Anyway, so let's go and launch the standard, bog standard Mandalay that you can buy from the store. Yes, it's only got the pulse lasers and what have you, but let's see how it performs in its bog standard configuration. Like I say, we would be remiss if we didn't do this, and we're going to do it for science. So there's the ship. Let's use this ship and get on with it. So here we are, 7 minutes in, and we've already spoken about the two versions you can purchase from the shop. This is the standard version, and it's sort of like, I don't know, duck egg blue, you'd call it, sort of thing. Anyway, does look nice. Nothing much in-game that really looks like that. I mean, dynamically or profile-wise, you could say with the swept wing, it's very reminiscent of the Eagle, so to speak. But you can also tell that that entrance and egress point that's facing forward, that Zorgon-Peterson in their text from the game have said is a feature where people want to land their ship, open the airlock and walk right the way down that hatch, down that gang ramp and out to wherever you are. Looking at those variable boosters, the uppy downy boosters for VTOL takeoff and things, I can tell you that they're linked to the landing gear as well, but there you are, they look absolutely fantastic. And the sweep or swept wing effect does lend itself nicely to the whole dynamic of the Mandalay. Definitely, they've bolted the front of a Mamba on the front of that. There's no other way to say it. There it is. I like the effect on the cockpit as well. That sort of like bronze tinted sort of thing that all the boy racers use on their Subarus to stop the plod seeing what they're doing. That's what I see from this ship. Nice looking ship, even in its standard configuration without any ship kits. And I think a lot of commanders are going to be using this. So, we're off. We are off indeed. And we're going to get ourselves moving. Now let's talk about those thrusters and the animation behind it. Like I mentioned, they are indeed linked to the undercarriage, the landing gear, whatever you want to call it. You raise the landing gear, you will see those thrusters go up. You drop the landing gear, the thrusters go down. No surprise there, everybody. One of the things I have noticed, however, with this, and we'll cover this a little bit later, is that even with forward motion from the main boosters at the back, with the landing gear down, those thrusters are pointed down. Surely, then, you would be moving in a diagonal direction upwards. Hey, what do I know? I'm not an aeronautical engineer. But there you go. Down, up, down, up, down, up, uppy down, downy up. Never going to get bored of this, are we? Let's face it, it's going to be something to behold. So, there we go. This is a really good effect as well. Those panels, I like. It's that sort of a concertina aspect to those. They go back into the recess, out come the landing feet, the landing gear, the undercarriage, and away they go. Looking at the front and that animation of the ramp and the airlock, again, out it comes. There's the foot, there goes the sliding gangplank, as it were. Nice effect. Well done, Frontier. Well done. I think that's really nice. I think that lends itself nicely to the ship. And of course the cargo bay, like any other cargo bay. Ooh, look, and we can see inside it. We can see a door. What's behind that door? I don't know. Nothing, probably, if you look where the door is. Like I say, nice swept wing effect. It's a big old ship. Let's get moving and get it outside. So here we are out of the confines of the station with the Mandalay, and the engines sound absolutely lovely. There's a guttural sort of like thumping sound to them as well. There's the effect of the landing gear going up and down and the VTOL thrusters going up and down as well in the confines of space. See, thrust going downwards from the VTOL thrusters, but also from the back of the ship, should we be moving upwards, like I say. It is a really good effect either way, and seeing the ship now in its natural habitat, out in the black, you can see all the good puddle lighting that happens. Good lights at the front to illuminate where you've just landed and where you need to be. And just under the cockpit, there's that other secondary cockpit, shall we say, where you can see just past your feet to where you're landing or where you're potentially going to land. Either way, this is cool. But what's the engine sound like? First off, though, I notice it's quite a noisy ship, even idling as it is. 2 pips to the engines, 27% on the temperature. Let's hit the go button. What's it like under boost? Here we go. And that, quite categorically, is all the boosting you're going to get. It does sound absolutely fantastic. What a sound. Looking at the front placements, we knew exactly where those front placements for the armaments are going to go, and here come the little pulse lasers, the piddly little pulse lasers that Frontier give you on the basic Mandalay model. I mean, let's face it, we knew where they were going to be. Why don't we get this back inside the space station and then get the proper big boy version out and see what all that's about? Okay then, Commanders, this is the more expensive version of the Mandalay. It comes with the Seeker Red paint job and a ship kit with 2 different variations. The one they've got here is the default variation. You can see it comes with, as I mentioned before, 2 F-pulse lasers, 1C lightweight alloy, a 5A power plant, 5A thrusters, 5A frameshift drive with SCO, a 4D life support, a 5A power distro, 5D sensors, and a 5C fuel tank. Okay, and of course you get 2 heat sinks. Now they're not engineered. There are no engineered modules in here, just class 5. And I'm a little bit disappointed by that, if I'm to be honest with you. What's going on there, Frontier? So really all you're getting is the standard ship, a paint job, a ship kit, and then all the other items you can readily available from a high-tech station. With a little bit of thought, to be perfectly honest with you. So I was indeed somewhat disappointed by that. I was expecting some sort of funky module, something engineered, perhaps around the frame shift. That would have made this jump even further off the bat. So as I mentioned, this comes with a Class 5A frameshift drive with SCO. It's the darling SCO frameshift drive of the day. I've got this engineered up thanks to Frontier and all those lovely materials they gave this test server for us to kick it with. And I've got it up to 57.41 light years. Yes, you can strip out all the armaments and lightweight all the other modules as well. There's no Felicity Farseer experimental effect applied to this as well. So I think you probably get it tickling up around about the 70, 72 light year range, I would say. If not, perhaps a little bit more if you really applied yourself. Either way, I think it's going to be a compelling jumper and it's going to look good while you're doing it. So here it is on the pad. We've got it out of outfitting and it does seem to look fantastic with that new paint job. It really does. I think I prefer this over whatever ruby paint job, if there was one applied for this, that there would be. I mean, look at it. I'm not a fan of those little wings on the ship kit at the front, but we can go in and change that a little bit later. I do like the secondary wings protruding out of the main swept wing, although does it really change the aesthetic of the ship? It looks fast. It looks aggressive. Does it look like an explorer? You let me know in the chat. I don't think it does. This is every way, I think, a multi-role ship. And perhaps even a Python Mark I contender. Ooh, that's a contentious point. Let's discuss that. Now, in addition to this, let's think about this. Explorer. Good Titan bomber? Of course it could be a good Titan bomber, and I'll do a video on that. Interesting to note, no scarabs came with the vehicle bay, so don't forget to put those in. The Thunder ship kit, I quite like that spoiler. This is the ship kit I would typically put on it. The wings, I'd leave the big ones because they look nice and flamboyant. But at the front, on the bumper section, I would go for the more swept back effect here. I think that's better than the little wings that we had, if you know what I mean. So what's that look like? Well, it's always good to lift off that landing pad, isn't it? And see the ship in its own environment, which is flying, right? Good effect of those main engines at the back. The red really emphasizes the Mandalay. And let's face it, it looks nice. People are going to be saying, take my money. Take my money for ARCs. I wonder how many people are going to buy this ship. Are you going to buy this ship? I think it's a ship worth buying. Now I've got this down on a planet. How cool is that? And you can see the size of the ship in relation to the standard commander. And you can see good reflections on the lovely paint for it as well. It's a big old unit, let's face it, but it doesn't look out of place. Yes, it's very high up and it sits proudly on its landing struts, but that also helps get your SRVs out. Be a bit of a travel-a-thon to get up that airlock gangway as well, wouldn't it, when you think about it? Noticed as well, little problem with the wing clipping into the rock as well on the side. I would say, is that to be expected? Or am I just particularly lucky on that? Something no doubt Frontier will check in future updates, past the Elite Dangerous Ascendancy update. Either way though, I think it's a lovely looking ship. What do you think? Are you going to buy one? I'm going to buy one every day of the week. I would advise you lot to buy it as well. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, I've been Ricardo. Thanks very much for watching this first in-depth look at the Zorgon-Peterson Mandalay. It's an explorer. It's the third new ship of 2024. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe. See you soon.